We have to talk about the backstory here before I read this to you. Premier Danielle Smith is the only premier in Canada that did not denounce Donald Trump calling for Canada to become the 51st state. She then went to the inauguration, seemingly got ignored by basically everyone, but then declared victory that Donald Trump is not going to be imposing tariffs shortly before Donald Trump declared his plan to possibly declare 25% tariffs on Canada as early as February 1st. So this is an absolute political failure. People in Canada are saying she betrayed the country, both on the left and the right. But let's just enjoy the imagination she has. Alberta is pleased to see that today President Donald Trump has decided to refrain from imposing tariffs on Canadian goods at this time as they study the issue further. We appreciate the implied acknowledgement that this is a complex and delicate issue with serious implications for American and Canadian workers, businesses, and consumers, given the integration of our markets along with our critical energy and security partnership. Avoiding tariffs will save hundreds of thousands of Canadian and American jobs across every sector. As an example, declining to impose U.S. tariffs on Canadian energy will preserve the viability of dozens of U.S. refineries and facilities that upgrade Alberta crude and the tens of thousands of Americans employed by them. Despite the promising news today, the threat of U.S. tariffs is still very real. As a country, we need to immediately take the following steps to preserve and strengthen our economic and security partnership with the United States to avoid further future imposition of tariffs. So right off the bat, remember, this is before Donald Trump's like, yeah, 25%, February 1st. Focus on diplomacy and refrain from further talk of retaliatory measures, including export tariffs or cutting off energy to the U.S. Having spoken with the president, as well as dozens of governors, senators, and members of Congress, and allies of the incoming administration, I am convinced that the path to a positive resolution with our U.S. allies is strong and consistent diplomacy and working in good faith towards shared priorities. The worst possible response to today's news would be the federal government or premiers declaring victory or escalating tensions with unnecessary threats against the United States. Now, what's so funny is she bragged about meeting all of these people, and none of them cared to talk about meeting her. I'm not saying she didn't meet with them. I'm just saying she doesn't matter. Negotiate ways to increase what Canadians and Americans buy from one another. As an example, the United States should look at purchasing more oil. I don't think he's going to want to do that, considering Trump has been pushing drill, wanting to get rid of he said he wanted to get rid of windmills because of the dead whales. That's a real thing, he said, by the way. So no, I don't think he's interested in that. Timber, agriculture products from Canada. Well, Canada should look at purchasing more gas turbines, military equipment, and the computer hardware needed to build our growing AI data center sector. Finding ways to increase trade in both directions will be critical to achieving a win-win for both countries. Double down on border security within the next month. All border provinces should either by themselves or in a partnership with the federal government deploy the necessary resources to secure our shared border from illegal drugs and migration. And the response I've seen from a lot of Canadians is there isn't a problem at our border. And they do catch people that illegally enter, such as a J6er that did just that. Announce a major acceleration of Canada's 2% of GDP NATO target. This is clearly a shared priority that benefits both of our nations. There is no excuse for further delay. Crack down on immigration streams and loopholes that are known to permit individuals hostile to Canada and the United States to enter our country and restore immigration levels and rules to those under former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Ooh, interesting. So she wants Trump to control Canada's immigration policies. Immediately repeal all federal anti-energy policies, production cap, CERs, and C69, and fast-track Northern Gateway and Energy East projects pre-approvals. Yeah, this is really funny. Because she has basically torched her reputation in Canada. I have seen everyone's mad at her, basically. The only people not are like the few Maple MAGA. But a lot of Maple MAGA turned on Trump after he talked about Canada as a 51st state. And it's really funny because, are there other solutions being talked about by like Maple MAGA and, people like that? Yeah, they have this new thing. It goes back to that dumb convoy that's a protest that's not going anywhere. They now are claiming they need a convoy because the convoy will somehow solve them getting the 25% tariff. So they've already concluded that they're going to get it and that she was an absolute failure in America. Even like people you would think would be on her side are like, no. It's absolutely hilarious that you would like torch yourself for this, but she did it for Trump. And I'm going to make a prediction. If she loses her political power over this, I bet she moves to America and tries to like work for Trump. That's my expectation. Where does she go, right? So yeah, that is something I thought I would share because it's not funny. It's not a funny scenario. It's bad for both countries, but at the same time, we can get a little laugh that this person believed that she somehow. I'm assuming she has to believe she convinced him. That's the only thing I can guess, right? Is that she says she spoke to him. So she spoke to him, thought she convinced him, and then it didn't happen. It does remind me of a lot of other people that are in Trump's administration or directly tied to Trump who thought things about J6 pardons, that it would be more restrictive or different things, and everything they've claimed just didn't happen today, right? It really feels like today should be a wake-up call to quite a few of them that Trump is just going to do whatever he wants, and as long as he's still president, right? Like he signed, if you didn't see this, and I know it's not directly related to the video, but I'm going to mention it. He signed getting rid of birthright citizenship. That's not like an amendment. That is something the founding fathers, I guess it's like some random amendment added on years later. This is something the founding fathers wanted. It's a core part of America. And Trump wanted to get rid of it with an executive order. And then when he got asked by reporters, isn't that going to be challenged in the courts? He's like, maybe. He doesn't care about the rule of law. It's very clear. He's just going to sign things and do things and then say, battle me in court. And the question is are the courts going to stop him? Maybe lower courts, but the Supreme Court, he's got quite a bit of sway there politically. So we'll have to see. The one thing we do know is Danielle Smith torched her political career and got nothing out of it.